The number of death flags that this latest solo leveling episode brought up has me quite concerned, and solo leveling loves its death flags. It loves its brutality. I mean, look at the first couple of episodes and what they were able to accomplish. We end this latest episode with the stragglers of that entire carnage kind of reunited, and two of them have some of the largest death flags you could put on a character. Oh, you have a loving family? You have a wife and some kids? You need the money? Of course daddy's coming back home. Wink wink nudge nudge. Oh, a man with one arm but still wants to be a benefit to society who feels guilt from that previous mission. Of course, he'll also come back. You add in 3 criminals, which even though the system makes sense, you just know at least one of them is going to do some bullshit that could possibly get someone killed, not valuing their teammates' lives because they're in it for themselves. Of course, our boy, kind of being the one-man army he is now, it kind of balances it better than the start of this show, but still, no one should be able to look at someone in the face and say, oh yeah, I 100% believe everyone's going to be fine. This is very concerning, but that makes it exciting. It's just goddamn, they just want you on edge, and that's what this episode accomplished. I have a full live reaction to this week's episode of Soul Leveling over on my Patreon. If you want to see my full uncut thoughts, they're over there if you're interested. I'm already ready for people, as per usual when it comes to any episode of Soul Leveling that doesn't have action, to tell me that it's filler, because that happens week after week. It's like, oh, you know, Soul Leveling, it's only good every other week because they're actually doing something, which is translation to if there's action, we like it because monkey brain likes swing. Here's the thing about episodes like these. You get to know the characters, you get to know the world, you get to see where people are actually being, and you actually feel like, oh, rather than this being a power fantasy that just has insert edgy MC who has no emotion or connections outside of dungeon crawling, we get to watch an MC who actually bonds with his sister, has motivation with his mother. The number of people who told me, not last week because we obviously had the week break, but in the previous episode, that it was stupid of him and it made no sense and he was as per usual, idiotic MC in a power fantasy because he barely survived C-rank dungeon or whatever dungeon it was, and he jumped into an S-rank, ignoring the fact that, oh, there is a elixir of life. I have a get out of jail free card. I can teleport out of the dungeon if it is too dangerous. But my mom, who is bedridden, is she gonna die tomorrow? Is she never gonna wake up? Do you really want to sit by for years on end not knowing where your mother's gonna go? Or are you going to try your best to get that elixir of life? Obviously, his teleport did screw him up because he dropped it at one point. But who the hell would just let their dying family member who they truly love after having all this new power not take a little leap of faith? And he's being smart about it. Now he's going the route of saying, I will clear 19 dungeons with you, bro. Even though you're trying to manipulate me and almost hold me at gunpoint to do this before, we can benefit from this. We'll hire some people and we'll just do it ourselves so we meet the quota. He's being logical. Sure, objectively, is it the smartest thing to jump from a C rank to an S rank? No, but when you have a teleport out of there, when you have the reason to help a family member, I would do the same damn thing. The only difference is that he's actually quite skilled at what he was doing, and he ended up succeeding in a decent way, and he didn't just charge into that demon's castle. That's what's kind of annoying about when there's criticism about Soul Leveling, because I think there's nothing wrong with not liking this show. Absolutely, don't like it. But often the criticisms I see, I feel like they fail to accept that they're just assuming solo leveling makes less sense than it actually does. A character being petrified and not being able to do anything in the moment isn't, oh, the author didn't know how to write. It's like, no, the character's petrified because goddamn, they have PTSD probably from a previous thing. Like that girl, I'm horrible with names, you have to forgive me, there's just, I am, okay? That is my sin when it comes to talking about this show, I am bad with names. But the girl who's been kind of curled up on her bed and is friends with her boy, right? She is probably going to freeze up at some point throughout this dungeon. And I swear to God, if I see people say that she's useless or this, that, and the third, or, you know, talk about her the way her mom was in this episode, I'm gonna blow a casket, man. Because, like, I think this show is a power fantasy done right. It actually writes characters in a pretty normal way. Being driven by money and having to do things for your family because this is your income, this is your life, and there really is no rest for the wicked is a believable motivation to go back into a dungeon after barely escaping one the last time, especially when you assume that they're not going to throw people into situations that would most likely get them killed. If it's actually a C rank or a D rank dungeon, they're going to believe it, even if shit could go pretty crazy. And honestly, I liked what they did with this episode. I was actually happy there was no action. It was just character focus, feeling where the characters are at, seeing more about our boy's menu system. Apparently, we can't get that cursed loot box, which we were going for in terms of like, you know, breaking his daily quest numbers and everything like that. Can't do that anymore, seemingly. And I don't know, man. I'm just telling him to not put his credit card information into this gacha machine because he got a used bingo card. That has to be one of the most disrespectful gacha pulls. He didn't even get a fresh bingo card. He got someone's thrown away bingo card. The disrespect. But he did bring up something that has me interested, and I don't know if it would work in the way he was thinking. He wants to get stronger, and he was thinking about the penalties. So that big creature he ran from when he didn't do his daily quest, he's like, oh, you know, I wonder if I got penalized if I then fought and defeated him. Would it give me XP? Would it work out? Or like, what's that? It's a good question because fighting something that big, potentially, because he's like, I could probably defeat it now, but he doesn't know if he would gain anything from it. But I have to imagine, if there's a system actually at play that can monitor him, it feels like they're using him for some objective. And if that's true, using a system that's designed to hurt you if you don't obey their rules and using it as a grinding machine for your own XP probably wouldn't go well, but at the same time, maybe it would. I don't know, but I would not take a gamble with, unless he accidentally fails a quest or like doesn't do it and he has to do it. In that case, defeat that thing and get the XP. But if he's willingly like ignoring his daily quest to go into that, I feel like it's gonna be bad news bears. I think honestly that phone call though with her curled up on the bed and the mom, the disrespect from her, like the way that conversation easily could have went is like, oh, you know, I know you're a B rank now and that's very impressive. I'm proud of you. But with that rank comes a lot more danger. You should really come home real worried about you. How did it actually go? You know, you're a B rank, but you're probably just getting in people's ways, honey. You should really, it's like the disrespect. Like, holy shit, no wonder she freaked out on the phone. She's already having like just a crisis about what happened previously. And then the family basically calling you scum of the earth and you don't belong there. It's like, holy hell, she's probably gonna freeze up in this dungeon. I can't say I blame her. The criminal system's actually interesting. They give a pretty much a prison warden who, if they try to do anything stupid, he would take care of them. And I believe he probably could. But it's interesting because there was only 5 who showed up, and usually it seems like you need 8 in order to do any of these dungeons or these portals, right? And I don't get good vibes from any of them, but it's interesting because it is a decent system that's like, oh, you'll lower your prison time if you do stuff like this, and there's a way to counter them. I just feel like it's not going to be like they're going to willingly kill someone in this party, but they're going to push you into danger so that they don't get hurt. You know, there's a lot of ways it could go bad. Hopefully it all works out, but only time will tell. I very much enjoyed this episode. I think this episode was worth the wait. I'm sure many people who like this show for action only will disagree with me, but it is what it is. That is YouTube for you. But let me know what you thought of this week's episode of Soul Leveling, and how worried are you? Because I think the death flags have intensified, but that's just me. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more. And hey, like I mentioned, we have that full live reaction over on my Patreon, and while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Emma K-Pop, Sandra Nuns, Bing Bonk, 0451 Jim, Mobata, and Lexin13. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.